just realised I haven't got my oh, look at it. It looks like it's moving beautifully. Do you know, if we'd got in a little bit earlier, that might have been... Oh, let's see if I can get my trade back.
I knew that was going to happen. That was
Yeah.
terrible. It's just...
Yeah.
You know.
So we would be at, what would be at, like 1 hour now. So we could probably move to break even. Look, it is what it is. Sometimes just analysing, watching, waiting. We've got another EPA level that we're coming into as well. Okay, so, you know, if we break through this convincingly, we're only going to get maybe 2 after that. It's moving really, really nicely, and that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. But look, it's one to chalk up. You put it in your journal, Chris. You mark it down as a missed trade, and it's just something to acknowledge. The thing is, you wouldn't have got into that trade without setting a limit order, most likely. Yeah?
Yeah, not the way I want to.
Okay, you would have, you know, let's say we're saying this is our ISC, which has taken out liquidity. You've got a hidden MSU there. You'd have had to be really quick on your feet. So you'd be trading the higher time frame version of it. You'd be trading this as the ISC, and this is your MSU. You would have had to take an MSU2 entry to get into it. So if you'd been quick, let's say you took the raw engulfing. If you'd been quick, you might have got that one, and then you'd be about 1, 2R. But look, it's moving nicely, which makes us always feel a bit shit that we've missed it. But ultimately, you look at overall price action, you look at how bearish it is. You know, this could just be a setup for going short. We've got to push a long way and take out a lot of liquidity and a lot of resistance in order to get, you know, a decent trade out of it. So, you know, I wouldn't be too upset about missing it, because it was a difficult trade to get into. We don't want to be making these rash decisions. We don't want to be making these quick decisions, right? We want to make cool, calm, collected moves so that we can then, you know, get into better trades more consistently. So missing out on trades like this, I'm cool with. I'm happy with that all day long. My overall bias is still bearish anyway. So I just wait and see what New York gives me. It's as simple as that, really.
That's exactly what I did, really. I just didn't rush into it because
Yeah.
it wasn't low at the entry point.
It's the right way to do it. It's the right way to do it. You know, and as you've seen last week, these reversal, these Euro USD buys, they've all been quick moves. You had to get in and out of them quite quickly, haven't you, to take your profit out? When actually waiting for the sells was probably the smarter move. Like yesterday, we were a bit unfortunate. I wasn't around during New York yesterday, and I missed that New York move, but that was a really lovely move on New York, as you can see here. We didn't kind of have the structure, the classic ISC MSU, but the elements that we needed, as in liquidity sweep breakdown, were there. It wasn't particularly clean. It could be a lot cleaner, but the move itself was really, really nice. And what I would have done if I was around is I would have started to wait to see the breakdown, and I would have entered somewhere around here. I would have entered something like this, one of these entries like that. And obviously you get a really nice position wherever you get in ultimately, but I probably wouldn't have traded that high. Well, I definitely wouldn't have traded that high. There's no ISC. Yes, I've got an MSU, but this doesn't look like to me a liquidity move. And it just shows how little volume there is in London. In Mondays. It just shows how little volume there is. This was a liquidity move ultimately, but it doesn't have all the hallmarks and the patterns and the imbalances and the speed that I want in a trade. So I would have probably got into this move, but I would have got in maybe around here, one of these cells like that, or maybe down here. That's where I would have got into the sell yesterday. I certainly wouldn't have traded up here. Even though it makes sense and I understand why it moved like that, I would have been just watching and waiting a little bit, waiting for some breakdown and going from there. And the difficulty is with a move like that yesterday is that now we see it, we're like, oh my god, I missed out on a great move. Actually, if you go back to the replay tool here, that doesn't look great, does it? That doesn't look really clearly like you're going to go short. That looks messy. It looks like a Monday setup ultimately. And if I'd been looking at the chart here, I'd be considering, actually, are we going to push higher? Okay, it's only until you start getting these breakdowns that you then feel like you've missed out. But sometimes by the time you get that breakdown, you're too late, right? So yesterday it was a nice move ultimately, but it was again a difficult entry to get into. Let's have a look what's going on in Germany 40 and see if we've got anything better. Okay, so this looks a little bit more promising. So we've had, okay, so we've got ISC there. So we've got an ISC there. We have had an MSU. I'd maybe like a little bit of a retracement. Oh, hang on. Got a fucking replay tool on, idiot. Well, look, the move was nice anyway. At least the analysis was bang on. Okay. I wouldn't have got my entry if I'd waited for the deeper pullback, but that was an overnight position. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, so this looks a little bit more promising. Actually, no. Do you know what? It doesn't. Again, it's another missed move, sadly. Need to be here a little bit earlier. Oh, God, if that's any reason for me to get up when my alarm goes off. I don't know what happened this morning. My alarms went off at like 5:15. And I remember hearing them. I remember switching them off, and I just must have fallen back asleep. Okay, so I would consider a buy out of here if I can get some sort of pullback, some sort of liquidity grab. There's not much imbalance in this move, which doesn't. Again, look, it's Tuesday, guys. It's early in the week. We don't need to force any of these trades. If I did get into a position there, what's my target? First target 2, second target 3. It's not the greatest of trades, is it? We'd be banking. Ideally, I want 4. That's what I want as my final target. You know, like these ones and these ones. But everything is there that I need to get me into a trade. So if I can get a sweep of that liquidity point, I might see if we can get an entry out of there. Bit of a boring morning. Difficult Euro USD to get into. DXY's got loads of room to move, but that's not always a good thing. It means that this leg is longer, and therefore we might get a reversal sooner. Do you know what? This doesn't look to me like this is going to hold as a big, deep bearish pullback. This looks to me like this is just pulling down for a little bit to then give us a setup, to give us some sort of setup to go long. That's what it feels like to me. Maybe that's just what I want to happen. I'm going to definitely set an alert on here, because if we can get something like that, then we can trade that all day long. If we can get an entry like that, then I'd love to see that. But considering how big the push was on the DXY yesterday, it indicates to me that we could turn around pretty quickly. You know, we might have an early morning push, maybe into that EPA level, and maybe for the DXY to maybe, I mean, it's maybe test Asia from yesterday. I don't know. It doesn't scream to me that we're going to go bearish for a long time. Do you know what I mean? Because what liquid? Yeah. And also, what liquidity is it taking? You know, what liquidity is it taking?
Well, just that high to the left, you mean?
Yeah, it's not taking any liquidity, is it? So it's like it's grabbed a little bit, but not much at all.
It's got to do a lot more to, if I'm right, to go short, to get more liquidity further down
Yeah.
than it would obviously to go long, wouldn't it? So
Yeah.
Would it be a better chance for it to go long than short?
Yeah. I think it's definitely looking more like it's a long right now, ultimately. So yeah, let's just see how it plays out, guys. Bit of a boring morning, nothing on the charts right now. Apologies, it's a little bit later than planned. I will make sure that going forward, I'm up on time and getting the sessions in early so we can get the analysis done pre-market. But yeah, a bit of a boring morning. Let's keep an eye on this during the day. I think we're going to get a bullish reversal, so a bullish reversal on DXY, and therefore we're going to get a bearish setup on Euro USD. That's my prediction. Obviously, we shouldn't be predicting the marketplaces. I'm not going to trade off the back of that, but that's what I would expect is to happen. That would be my forecast effectively for the day. So let's wait and see what we get, and then we can go from there. All right, lads.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, have good days, boys. All right, I'll keep you updated in the chat.
All right.
All right, cheers.